every congressman and every senator in America. Over 100 of them joined to get Ramos and Campion freed from the jails. Remember the Border Patrol agents? I hope to get at least 100 congressmen and senators to demand that this illegitimate labor government get my name off that list immediately. This is Michael Savage. I'll be right back.
Savage.
Imagine discovering an opportunity that can completely rebuild your retirement fund by 40% over the next 2 years. Does it sound too good to be true? It's not if you take action today. Call my good friends, and I mean good friends, at Swiss America. Gold IRAs have averaged 20% per year growth since 2001. It's just common sense to roll over dead paper assets into gold, the best performing asset of the century. Then you can relax no matter what happens on Wall Street. Call now for a complete Gold 101 DVD and my free CD.
Call toll-free 888-867-8965. That's 888-867-8965.
For nearly a decade, I've told you to trust gold coins and Swiss America. Today, it's more urgent than ever. Get my CD, DVD, and new special report.
Call toll-free 888-867-8965. That's 888-867-8965.
Learn before you earn. Don't just imagine rebuilding your wealth. Do it now.
Call 888-867-8965 today.
Eloquent in their own way.
Armstrong and Getty. Weekday morning 6 to 10. Talk 910 KNEW.
So the Lockerbie bomber who actually killed over 200 people is released, and the left wing cheers. And the very next few days, instead of attacking the decision to release a terrorist, the radical left instead attacks the CIA and says that, oh, they put a loaded gun next to the head of a terrorist, or they threatened his family. Now, I want you to understand who we're dealing with. These are people who actually blow up buildings, blow up airplanes, cut people's heads off while they're alive. And these verminous rats on the left are concerned that the men who have the guts to actually go in a cell and face them should be tried and convicted of some kind of violation of the Geneva Convention. They're going to get us all killed. Don't you understand this? Don't you understand the danger you are in because of the psychopaths in the ACLU, the National Lawyers Guild, and within the Justice Department itself? Don't you understand who is running the country right now? Can't you figure it out? Can't you put two and two together? The radical academic left, in cahoots with the Islamic international fascist networks, have now put a loop around America's neck, and they're tightening the loop. Their friends in the rat media, of course, instead of focusing on the release of the Lockerbie bomber, instead of focusing on a member of the American media being put on a list of murderers and terrorists, namely yours truly, Michael Savage, instead they're focusing on the brave men and or women who actually had the guts to go in a cell with the most despicable human beings the planet has ever seen. The lowest of the low, vermin who would take a child and throw it down a well. Vermin who cut people's heads off while they're alive while chanting. If you don't believe it, go on to various websites. You can find it. They pay no attention to those atrocities. They pay no attention to the atrocity of the Pan Am plane being blown up midair, killing over 200 people. Instead, they pay attention to the way these rats were interrogated to prevent another 9/11, or to prevent another ship from being blown up, or to prevent God knows what. Or what if it was to interrogate somebody in Iraq who knew where the next IED was going to go off that would have injured or damaged one of our Marines or soldiers? The reason that the perverts in the ACLU, the psychopaths in the ACLU and the National Lawyers Guild don't care about that is because they have no relatives in the military. They don't care about the military because they have no relatives in the military. They have loyalties outside of the United States of America. Their loyalties are not with America. Their loyalties are not for America. Their loyalties are not about America. And right now, America's survival is at stake. If we permit the left-wing rats, the psychopaths, the drug addicts with law degrees to bring down the CIA, they will have effectively destroyed the last white blood cells we have left, able and willing to combat the viruses that would wipe this country off the map. That's my opinion. What's your opinion? The phone number is 1-800-449-8255. Let's move to the callers. In Florida, Carrie, you're up on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Yes, first I wanted to give you a compliment, and second I had a question. First of all, you completely changed the way that I look at things. In the last 2 years I've been listening to you, I had no opinion of politics at all. And now I look forward to flipping to my AM station and listening to your wisdom and knowledge, completely giving me a lens that now everything that I look at, I can see through everything.
But Carrie, don't you understand why that makes me a dangerous man to the Obama administration and to the international socialist brigades? Don't you understand that anybody who can awaken the people, can enlighten the people, can motivate the people is a danger to the New World Order? Don't you see that, Carrie?
Yes, I definitely see, and I can't say your name or speak my ideas to a lot of people at work, friends. It's like I'm speaking like conspiracy theories, crazy things. And
that's because they've been brainwashed, Carrie, and the brainwashed must be expunged from your life. I had to do it and before I entered radio, or soon thereafter, I had to get rid of my so-called friends because all of them dragged me down. Every last one of them dragged me down with their biases and their cowardice. And if you have to go it alone, then go it alone. It's better to walk alone in truth than to be amongst the mob in ignorance. That's all I can say, Carrie. Thanks for the call. Skip, Ohio, welcome. You're on the Savage Nation.
Dr. Savage, I tried so long to get a hold of you. Now, I'm 63 years old. I'm retired for 3.5 years, and I've been a Democrat all my life. I've been a union official all my life, and until January 8th. And I started listening to some of these radio stations that Carrie uses and others, and I despise what's going on with this administration.
Well, don't you understand why they want talk radio silence? Because we're the only voices of opposition. We're the actual dissent in America that the phony left claims they believe in dissent. I am Dr. Dissent, not them. They are the government. They're the establishment. They're the ones you should fear.
I do.
Tell me a man who believes that you can trust the government, and I will show you an evil man. Show me a man who says, I trust the government, and you know that he's in on the conspiracy. What is there to trust in the government? Even liberals will tell you, love your country, but don't trust your government. That's a given across the entire political spectrum, is it not, Skip? Conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat, don't trust your government. What was the Constitution written for? It was written by very wise white males hundreds of years ago to make certain that we did not wind up living in a tyranny again. Now we wake up living in the tyranny of Obama, who has czar after czar after czar.
Savage. Don't miss a minute of the Savage Nation. Download the podcast at 910knew.com.
Try to look at a society the way you would look at a human body. There are many different components of a government, many different components of a body. And, of course, the principal duty or job of a government is to protect the citizens. Now, when a government starts to frighten the citizens, it becomes something other than what it's supposed to be. A government is not supposed to frighten its citizenry. It's supposed to protect its citizenry. But when people start to say, wait a minute, why are there so many deals with foreign countries? Why are there so many czars? Who was this president? Where was he born? Where do his loyalties lie? Why is the CIA, our white blood cells, the equivalent of our white blood cells, why is the CIA being attacked now? Who is the ACLU? Who elected them to office? How did they come to be? Who funds them? You see, when you start asking these questions, you become a very important citizen. You can call yourself an informed citizen. But when anyone tells you you shouldn't ask these questions, you know that you're dealing with a brainwashed moron who is not worthy of your conversation. David in New York on WOR, go ahead, please.
Yeah, hey, Dr. Savage. I really enjoy your show. I'm annoyed. When you were talking before about the ACLU going after the CIA, and it just reminded me how the ACLU felt the need to defend the Nazis and felt the need to just constantly defend those that I would consider, just kind of engage in things to usurp our fundamental foundation.
Right, that's correct. And some of the defenders of the Nazis' right to march in Skokie, Illinois, are some of our great First Amendment lawyers, to give you some idea of who they really are. But what's your question?
Where are they getting this money from, and are they a not-for-profit? If they're not-for-profit, how can they maintain this not-for-profit status? and also engage in...
Well, because their friends in the government make certain that they don't violate the law. Even if they do, the government will never pursue them. It's just like Media Matters. Media Matters is a 501c3 type corporation, nonprofit, but in fact they focus only on conservative talk radio, which makes them a political organization, which means they're violating nonprofit status, which means that they should be investigated by the U.S. government and their nonprofit status removed. But since the government is their friends, since they are the government, these groups, the ACLU, Media Matters, National Lawyers Guild, are effectively now our government. But your question is, where does the ACLU get their money from? Isn't that right?
Correct.
Okay. You have to look at the predominant donors to the ACLU to get that answer. And it's hidden. It's very well hidden. But I happen to know, because I researched this, that the principal donors, the largest single donors to the ACLU in recent years was a family called Sandler, S-A-N-D-L-E-R. The Sandlers, Herbert Sandler, now hold on because you're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you. Herbert Sandler is the former CEO and CO with his wife Marion Sandler